Hey, y'all remember that 93, 94 Bulls? Y'all probably don't remember that team. Y'all probably don't even remember that team, but there's a 93, 94 Bulls team. Like Jordan retired. They just completed a three-peat. And Jordan retired. He went and played baseball. And the Bulls added Pete Myers, who was a scrappy two guard that kind of played a little defense, could score sometimes. But that team, without Jordan, actually won 55 games in the regular season. And you got to understand, a 50-win season in the NBA is actually pretty good. And that team did that without Jordan. They had Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc coming off the bench, Steve Kerr, B.J. Armstrong, who was a first-time All-Star, I believe, that year. Horace Grant, who was like a double-double machine, averaging like 15, 16 points. Pippen, I'm not sure how much he averaged, but he was the leading scorer for sure and had some MVP type votes. So that team was literally playing very, very well in the regular season without Michael Jordan. And there were some people who I thought had common sense that were saying that this team could be better without Jordan because they moved the ball and everyone get involved. Look, B.J. Armstrong's an all-star. Steve Kerr's a possible six-man of the year runner-up. Tony Kukoc is an all-star on any other team. You know, they were saying these things and they were complimenting this team in spite of, because Jordan wasn't there, and they were saying how great this team was. And that's exactly what we got going on here with people with Caitlin Clark saying that the Indiana Fever, who are playing very well, who look great, who are buying into the system, and they're saying that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. And these are the same people that were trying to fire Stephanie White a couple weeks ago, saying she couldn't coach because they need a read and react offense, and that ball isn't moving, and they're not getting good shots, and they're losing games. But all of a sudden now the team is just better without Caitlin Clark because what? But no, I'm just going to let you guys just weep on that. But just listen to Carolyn Peck, who I believe has become like one of the biggest haters of Caitlin Clark. I'm not an Indiana Fever fan at all. I know basketball a little bit. I have a little bit of authority on the sport and that I can speak on it with some confidence. And I think that the Caitlin Clark hate is forced. I think she has a lot of trolley type fans and a lot of people that are casuals that are learning the game now that have opinions, and you got to start to filter those opinions because a lot of people don't really have the knowledge of the intricacies of the sport, but they like to watch her because she's fun to watch. So when you're listening to their opinions, you got to learn to filter it and not take all of their opinions as a personal shot at you or your favorite player. And I'm learning to do that. I haven't learned completely because I still fall into traps sometimes, and I end up in debates with a fool. And you know what they say, if two fools are arguing, they never know which is which, or however that saying goes. But either way, let me let you listen to what Carolyn Peck had to say, and you can make your mind up.
Oh my God! We were at that game just now. Look, the Fever have been on a tear. They've won 2 in a row, a 25-point blowout of the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, and then 27 against the Aces in this one. And both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done right now?
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play.
Look, that's blasphemy.
Stop the cap.
Because she's a ball dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot. So you know what you need to try to take away. But when you look at Indiana now, they've got so many weapons. And Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind. Aaliyah Boston. I talked to Stephanie White before the game. She said in year 1, Aaliyah Boston was back to the basket. Year 2, two-man game. Year 3, they're using her as a decision maker. And so when you have a point guard like Kelsey Mitchell and Ari McDonald making plays on the perimeter and a post like Aaliyah Boston, I'm going to tell you, at Indiana, they are a threat. And specifically on the defensive end, Stephanie is so pleased with the intensity that they're bringing defensively with their length, their switches. I mean, they've wreaked havoc on their last 2 opponents.
Okay, did you hear this woman, man? And I hate to say it like that because I don't want to sound misogynistic, but That's a terrible take. You do not get better by removing Caitlin Clark. What happens is in a team sport, you prepare your team to step up in the absence of someone that's missing. And with Caitlin Clark missing and the addition of Eric McDaniel, you see that the offense is running faster with McDaniel because McDonald, because she's a fast, small guard. She can score. She can play defense. She's scrappy. She's not Caitlin Clark. But what it does is it continues that speed of what the motion offense need. If you notice, I really wanted to show you a play, but I don't have it pulled up, so I'm not going to do it, and I want to stop this video. But if you notice, every time someone brings the ball up, you can watch a cut along the baseline. You can watch a cut from the hash. And that establishes the motion. It confuses the defense. They're either going to double. The straggler is going to have to ride with that hash cut, or that baseline cut is going to come open underneath the bench. You notice that this team gets a lot of layups. And those layups is because of that motion offense set. If you're watching a ball and there's two simultaneous cuts, you're going to miss one of them, and that's going to always give a layup. So you can notice that Kelsey Mitchell, even the little girl, the little guy, Erin McDonald, she gets layups because that motion offense is set. So I think the implementation of CC is going to spread the court a little more. She has a little bit more range than McDonald, so that's going to open up even more passes. So I can tell you now that I think she's averaging 18, 8, and 6 now, and that's a bad year. I think she's going to come back and implement herself into this offense correctly, and she can go from averaging 18 to maybe about 16, 12, and 7. So look for her scoring to drop. Watch her assists go up because the team is playing with confidence. So those assists that they would normally miss, they're making them now. Even Lexi's making layups. Not as much as she should, but she's making them. So Carolyn Beck, you're going to eat those words, but because, man, they're just going to be even more dangerous. CC on the wing when Erin McDonald pushing the ball as fast as she is, and you just got to wonder where's CC at, and then Kelsey Mitchell coming down, running straight down the middle for a layup, and Howard, come on, man. You don't get better by losing CC. Stop. I don't know. Get out of here, Carolyn.
This is Sparta!